Before anything, I need to get some things clear. I don't ship 2d's. And second, we all know that it's not canon and it probably won't ever be canon. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this because I haven't seen much videos on the topic, and yes, this could be classified as an analysis, but it's not a very complete one. What I mean is that I could do better, and in some future I maybe will. Let's start with the ships. So, everyone wants to ship 2D with someone, that's the reality of this. So, let's start with Russell. It doesn't make sense, but there are shippers of this, and although you wouldn't think about it, it just doesn't have the questionable morals that the others have. And well, you could ask yourself, why talk about 2d's and not Toodle, for example, as they're both morally wrong? Because pedophilia, there's literally no way out of that and it's disgusting. But 2d's, on the other hand, is morally questionable. So let's question it.
Murdoc, do you use booze as a memory removal technique? Yeah, I do, Dutty, old boy. Yeah, it's very efficient, isn't it, to get rid of all that sort of childhood stuff that we carry around with us. Yeah, wipes it all out. Absolutely.
Okay, so Murdoc has some traumas. Had a bad childhood, as we all know, and it wouldn't be a bad assumption to think that he doesn't know quite well how to show affection in a healthy way. Probably has abandonment issues too, because of his mother literally leaving him on the street, and well, the abuse mostly from his father. He's said multiple times that he believes in tough love, and subconsciously I think he convinced himself that his father loved him despite all the abuse, and even going as far as to think that that was his way of showing it. So, Murdoc believes in tough love and has normalized abuse as a form of love throughout his life, and we can see that he clearly abuses Judy the most. I'm not trying to justify the abuse as a part of the ship, but trying to understand where Murdoc comes from. He obviously doesn't hate 2D, they don't hate each other. And I believe that Murdoc does love 2D, like a friend or family, because he hasn't had a lot of people in his life that support him, people that stayed with him, and 2D has. Mainly because of the Stockholm Syndrome, but still, he stayed. And even after Plastic Beach, they still have some sort of bond. Now, 2D. He admires Murdoc, or at least he did in phase 1 and 2. Even after Plastic Beach, he still showed this respect towards him. He also hates him at times. There's obviously a lot of resentment there. But a good explanation is Stockholm Syndrome, and the fact that he's like a little bit confused all the time, and the painkiller addiction, and the multiple head injuries that he's suffered, like so many head injuries. But 2D still cares about Murdoc. That's the point. Even in his not totally here permanent state of mind. And well, as we all saw in the Lost Court, there can't be much hate there. The dependence and submissiveness is fading, yes, but maybe part of the hate is fading with it, letting him see that Murdoc has changed, at least a little, and trying to move on from the past. Like literally destroying the past. Okay, so now that we've seen each side, we can understand a little bit better how and why is this shit. Also, we can see the questionable parts. So, if they were in a relationship, it would be toxic and abusive, at least from Murdoc's side. And if you want to ship this, I can't stop you. I mean, do whatever you want. If it makes you happy, then, I don't know, be happy. But we all know a relationship, at least a healthy one, should make both parts feel happy and safe, and there should be mutual respect and stuff. and a toxic, abusive relationship where there's one side that is almost like a slave to the other, having acute Stockholm syndrome, well, I shouldn't need to tell you that that's not a healthy relationship. Like, I hope we all know that. Neither of them are in the right mindset to be in a relationship with each other. So the canon that the fans want is unrealistic, and it will never happen exactly how they imagine it. Because the fans want a story, a lore within the lore, about how one day they kissed or something and they realized that they were in love this whole time, and since then they have been in a secret relationship, hiding their forbidden love and leaving subtle clues for us, the devoted 2d's fans, to discover that they are actually madly in love. Like, no? Like, sorry for bursting your bubble, but that's not that is not what's happening here. But let me tell you what I think is the closest thing to the canon you so desperately want. Okay, so I'm in my room. I hope nobody's here. Nobody cares. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Okay, so we know this interview in which 2D said this. Hope is showing in the screen. So pause it, read it. Alright, okay. So, in this situation, like, imagine the trailer, they're talking, whatever, and, well, so, Murdoc is, like, wastedly drunk, like, how he usually is, and he's, so drunk that he called 2D, and like, is telling everything about his childhood, his traumas, stories, like, he's crying in front of him, like, so drunk, I imagine, for him to do that, like, and 2D must be, like, confused, as ever, but, like, yeah, probably high on painkillers, I don't know, but I imagine that he could be a little bit afraid, and the Stockholm Syndrome could play a big part on this too, because, like, how I imagine you read the definition earlier, like, the love towards the aggressor comes in when they're vulnerable, because they are, like, subconsciously, like, thanking them for not hitting them, abusing them, like, so 2D seeing, like, more like this could be, he could be feeling a little bit, like, afraid, like scared of him, because obviously, like, in this constant state of alert that he's in, and also, like, seeing him vulnerable like that could, like, spark some compassion to Murdoc, you know? And also he's confused and probably high. So we have that, and after a while, Murdoc gets closer to the says, like, oh, you listen, like all those other girls and whatever, and they hug. And 2D is now really tense, because it's like, oh my god, he's hugging me, like, what's happening? Like, like, should I be scared? Like, I imagine that he would be like that, you know, like, obviously. And in that moment, remember, like, Murdoc is so drunk, and 2D is, like, really scared and submissive, so he's not in the mood to, I don't know, reject aggressively anything, so he's, like, just paralyzed, you know? So that is perfect scene for Murdoc to kiss 2D, like, just that, and then for him to back up a little bit when 2D literally does not react at all, just tenses up more and is even more scared than before, and probably shaking, I don't know, and Murdoc is just like, sorry, and then he sits on the bed and falls asleep, and 2D is like processing this, still a little bit scared. But then sees Murdoc like falling asleep, and it's like, okay, I'm out of danger, like processes the situation a little bit more, and then puts a blanket over him, and it's like, okay, and leaves peacefully the trailer like in silence, not to wake him up. And then it's like, okay, I'm gonna silently add this to the list of my traumas, and yes, and the Murdoc doesn't remember anything, and that's as far as anything would go, I would say. That's the closest thing to the canon you guys want that I can imagine. I mean, and if someone can draw this, please do. I can't draw, but if you want to draw it, please draw it, like, please. I don't ship 2d's, but if you want to draw it, I can't stop you. Please do. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Okay, another thing. I didn't cover everything, obviously. There's so much more to this than what I've said, and it's really interesting to me. Like, their relationship is really special, and like the analysis of a character, I really like that, and I would love to, I don't know, if I can make a deeper analysis sometime in the future. Yeah, I know this kind of changed tones, I don't know, towards the end. If someone wants to draw the scene I said, please do. I encourage you so much. But yeah, thank you for listening. I'll probably do more Korea stuff soon, I don't know. This is my first video, so thank you. Also, sorry for my accent. I'm not a native English speaker, if it wasn't obvious already. But I'm trying to get to as many people as I can, and if I talk in English, I'm able to do that. I don't want to stretch this too much. So yeah, thank you.